Jordan, just before we came on the show tonight, news broke of an executive order that the president signed about a anti-pay for play type of executive order that kind of outlines some things when it comes to college football, antitrust laws, and those sort of things. There was a big article about it. We didn't get to dive into all of it. And we're not going to get political here on the show. Okay. So, regardless of what you think of the current sitting president of the United States, we are here to talk about specifically this executive order that he signed and the possible impact that it could have on college athletics. And, Jordan, I want to preface this by saying I am not a big fan of government getting into things such as college football. One of my favorite things to watch, consume, talk about, read about, study, all the things, right? However, as we have gone through this wild, wild west version of college football, I have started to warm up to the fact that we may need government intervention, Congress intervention, whatever the case may be, to rid the sport of this pay-for-play model that we are currently in. Because I've said it on the show before, Jordan. We've talked about it on the show several times, and I'll say it again now. We are not in the NIL era of college football. We are simply in a pay-for-play model of college football guised as NIL. That's all we like. We have labeled pay-for-play as NIL. The media does it. We do it. Everybody that talks about college football is like, oh, NIL, NIL, NIL. This is not NIL, people. This is pay for play. This is rich boosters paying whatever it takes to get X recruit to commit to their school, whether that be via the portal or high school football player, right? We've seen it time and time again. Just this recruiting cycle. We saw it during the last portal cycle, so on and so forth. Everybody understands that we are not in a true NIL era of college football. We're in a pay for play. And it's the wild, wild west. And it has been absolutely devastating, I think, to the sport of college football. And we got a little glimmer of hope when the House settlement finally came to fruition. And what it outlined was the school's ability to revenue share with players up to $21 million, somewhere in that range, right? And the schools can divvy it up between the sports as they wish. And one of the things that kind of came out of that was reining in NIL, making it more legitimate NIL deals that are, Jordan, you are X player, I own X business, and I want you to appear in a commercial or make 10 social media posts for X amount of dollars. That's NIL, right? You make 10 social media posts about my company, I pay you X amount of dollars. That is NIL. What NIL is not is, hey, Jordan, I'm a big Clemson booster. I went to Clemson. I love Clemson. I have millions of dollars that I have no clue what to do with. How much is it going to take you to come play for Clemson University? What's that going to take? What's your number? And I write a check, right? That's not NIL. That's pay for play. Okay. So now that I've outlined the difference, one of the things that came with the House settlement was the College Sport Commission. And what they were supposed to do is any NIL deal above $600 had to be submitted to this College Sports Commission, and they would review it and deem it acceptable, fair market value, or not. And even me and you on this channel, when that came out, were skeptical of, hey, how long is it going to be before the first lawsuit happens and this whole College Sport Commission gets just blown up? So with all of that said, Jordan, I know that was a long intro and I apologize, but What are the possible implications of this executive order, the college sport commissions? What is any chance that we are going to rein in NIL in any sort of real way with any of these things that we're talking about?
Yeah, I mean, with this executive order, I mean, a lot of it is just kind of reiterating what the goal of the College Sports Commission was to begin with.
Yep.
Obviously they want to emphasize and encourage fair market compensation for, for brand endorsements and also and things like that. What you traditionally would think of when you think of NIL.
Yep.
I question how enforceable that it's going to be effectively. I mean, without any sort of real legislation. It seems like it's going to be another kind of action without any sort of real impact. That's the thing that worries me. I mean, I'm glad that there is something is being done, I guess, but I don't see how this is going to really resolve itself. And ultimately, it's not even just that we're in a pay for play model. It's we're in an unregulated pay. Like this is not. There's no other business. There's no other industry, especially within athletics, that operates this way. Not professionally. I mean, every other major professional sport has. They have guardrails and they have salary caps. They have all of these things. They have, of course, they have collective bargaining, like at least with the NBA and the NFL.
Absolutely.
So it just this model of college athletics is unlike anything else within the within athletics and within really just professional the workforce in general. There's fair market compensation and there's regulations in place basically in anything else except for this. So it just
absolutely
it doesn't. It's just obviously we're beating a dead drum. I mean, we're beating a dead horse at this point. I mean, this has been something we've talked about for years at this point. But this is just not a model that's going to be healthy for the long term of the sport.
No.
And we'll see. I'm skeptical that this executive order is going to do much of anything that the College Sports Commission wasn't already intended to do. We'll see though.
Yeah, I much like you. I know Dabo Sweeney was asked about this at Clemson Media Days, and he's optimistic. I'm the opposite, dude. I'm not optimistic about the College Sport Commission. I'm not optimistic about Donald Trump's executive order that he just signed. I'm not optimistic about any of it. This House settlement sounds great, but I'm just waiting for the very first time that the College Sports Commission comes down and drops the hammer on some sort of NIL deal, pay for play, and they say no, that's not a legitimate business deal. That's illegal. The first thing that's going to happen, it's going to be a lawsuit. It's going to be an antitrust lawsuit. You can't tell a college player what he can and cannot make. This is America. We're a capitalist system. Whatever somebody's willing to pay him is what he should be paid, right? That's going to be the lawsuit. We all know. And I don't think the executive order nor the College Sports Commission solve any of those things. So to your point, Jordan, is there any way out? Because much like Isaac said in the chat, a Pandora's box has been opened, right? The cat is out of the bag, if you will, when it comes to pay for play. So is there any other way to close Pandora's box, put the cat back in the bag, other than to make college athletes, employees, get a collective bargaining agreement and have a salary cap? To me, honestly, I think that's the only way that you regulate this in any real way that is not going to be subject to legal scrutiny every single time you turn around and try to violate somebody for some rules that they broke. I don't see any other way. And far be it from like, I don't want college football to become any closer to the NFL than it already has. But when it comes to this pay for play model, it's not good for college football. This wild, wild west version that we've been living in for 2 years or so now, it's not good for college football, and it's only going to get worse. So if we have to get to where college football players are employees of either the schools or the conferences that they play for, and there's a salary cap, so be it. Because the model that we are currently in my opinion, is unsustainable, and it makes college football in particular, which is the sport that I'm most passionate about, it makes it not as appealing as it was. It's just not. It's not as like, there are pieces of college football that we have lost over the last 3 to 4 years due to a lot of these changes that you're never going to get back. And I think you got to rein it in a drastic fashion before you lose any more of the fabric that makes college football special.
Yeah, I think John Sarian put it well. He says any resistance to a pro college league just kind of some kind just delays the inevitable. Yeah, I mean, I think that's ultimately where we're headed. I think the faster we get there, the better off we'll be. I just at this point, I'm so jaded about this whole conversation because it's just at this point, just make a decision. Somebody, let's figure out what we're going to do and do it. Everybody agrees to it, like whatever it looks like. Just do something that stabilizes everything.
And not only do something, but do something that's truly enforceable.
Yes,
that like we can actually enforce. That's what I want. Like, all this stuff sounds nice, but to me,
they're trying to piecemeal
it's not enforceable.
Yeah,
none of this is enforceable because the minute that there's a lawsuit on it, this stuff doesn't hold legal weight. The College Sport Commission, I guarantee you, will not hold legal weight. Yeah. Neither will this executive order. So we got to get to a point where we have parameters that are actually enforceable. Yeah. And I think that is the players becoming employees of either the conferences they play for or the universities that they play for, and some sort of salary cap, some sort of NIL cap for each individual team. I think that's what we have to get to. And to your point, Jordan, the quicker we get there, the better, because I'm tired of losing little pieces of the fabric that make college football special along the way. So let's hurry up and get there, and then let the dust settle and college football get back to being what college football always was. And that is a much better version of NFL.